are few exchanges or few jurisdictions in the world that can accommodate clearing, trading, and settlement of products in these currencies. So, to answer your question, we are very supportive of all these initiatives. We think that there is a lot of scope for developing these products in Mauritius, not only for the Mauritian population, but using Mauritius as a platform to sell products, Islamic products and other based products to African investors and to other regional investors, because there are a number of advantages that Mauritius offers that can certainly be tapped into. So as far as the stock exchange is concerned, we are internationalizing, we are opening up to non-conventional products, which means also including Islamic products. So if there are funds, there are sukuks and other types of products, our platform, our regulatory framework is ready to accommodate these products. So that's what I have to say as far as the stock exchange is concerned.
Thank you, Mr. Sunil. I just want to share with you that I just received a news feed this morning, and I was surprised to see that the world first halal food index will be launched in US soon. The world first halal food index will be launched in US. I mean, this is certainly going to be a very interesting index, because today when we look at the Muslim population, we're looking at approximately 1.9 billion. And this is certainly an asset class within the investment commodity for Islamic finance. Now I move on to the next speakers. All right. Now, interestingly, when you look at our speakers here, now before I move on to the next speakers, I want to share with you very quickly that when you look at the component of Islamic capital market, which is in front of you here, now the Islamic fixed income instrument, or the Islamic equity, which is part of the Islamic component, Islamic capital market, the Islamic equity here is more or less the stock which you buy on the exchange. Now, relying on the Islamic equity itself is not enough. You need to look at different products. This is why today we have the Islamic structured products or derivative. All right. At the same time, this is why we have the Islamic fixed income instrument, sukuk, and all these instruments could be traded on the stock exchange. Now, I have one last question I want to ask Mr. Sunil. Now, we have recently launched the Global Board of Trade. Now, Global Board of Trade, GBOT, is apparently a derivative exchange. Now, we were told earlier that GBOT could play a role as far as liquidity management for the Islamic financial industry. I don't know whether I have the information is incorrect. All right. Now, in your view, in your personal view, all right, how would you interpret, or how would you see that whether GBOT could be an instrument, all right, for the liquidity market and for both the conventional and the Islamic finance?
Thank you. I think, as I've said, Mauritius today is positioning itself as the financial hub, linking Asia and the rest of the world to Africa, and also Europe and so on to Asia. So I think any initiative, including the initiative from GBOT to establish an exchange or any platform using Mauritius as the venue for trading products, is welcome. So I would say from a Mauritius perspective, the initiatives like GBOT or any other that could come to Mauritius so as to grow the market, develop the market, come up with new products, come up with products that would add value or will offer existing investors in Mauritius, but more importantly, using Mauritius as a platform to reach out to regional investors would be certainly welcome. So I think any initiative to promote Islamic products into Mauritius will work well in my view, because there is a demand, local demand for these type of products. But I think as far as Mauritius is concerned, we should look beyond the regional frontiers of Mauritius, beyond the national frontiers, and try to position Mauritius as a platform. And I think it would be very useful, because I've seen that there are a number of foreign participants here, to get their inputs in terms of how Mauritius could be used as a platform to reach out to prospective investors from the region and outside of the Southern African region for these type of products. Of course, it goes without saying that such initiatives are being pursued by different jurisdictions, whether it's in the Far East. You just mentioned in New York they are launching an Islamic index, Islamic product index. So I'm pretty sure, since the Islamic industry is being valued at several trillions of dollars, you'll have a lot of similar initiatives that will, in the future, will be created so as to tap this market. And for us in Mauritius, I think the key challenge would be, how do we position ourselves? What are the niche products that we should try to come up with so as to really make our mark in that market? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sunil. Now, my next question will be to the local CEOs of banks in Mauritius. Now, you could see we have a list of banks in Mauritius here. We have, today we have 20 banks in Mauritius. Only 2 banks are offering Islamic financial instrument, Century Banking or Century Corporation Banking. Is it Century Banking Corporation? Century Banking Corporation, which is a wholesale bank. Then we have the HSBC Bank Limited, which offers limited product to global business. Now, my question to these CEOs here, all right, interesting, we have investment bank, we have retail bank. Now, in your own opinion, how do you see the future of Islamic financial services or Islamic financial product in Mauritius as an opportunity and a challenge at the same time? Khalil?
Thank you, Dr. Mune. I'm looking at the commercial value of the proposition of setting up an Islamic bank in Mauritius. Yeah, definitely the prospect is there, and based on my experience managing a local banks, I would say that the market is small. Yeah, the market is small, but an Islamic bank, is possible to make a decent return based on 200,000 in terms of number of population. Yeah, with 200,000 people, you could divide that into about 50,000 households in terms of numbers. Based on my previous experience in managing in one of the banks, a bank with 15,000 clients, 50,000 depositors, and about 5,000 what they call it borrowers, they could decently make about $2 million USD in terms of profit. Yeah, based on that premise, I would say any party that that is like not planning to go retail, they definitely can. And again, the long-term prospect of the venture is practically not on the local front, but to move as we go along into the international market. Local market, you can make certain sum of profit, but it's not going to be long-lasting. Okay, thank you.
I'll ask the same question to the CEO of Century Banking Corporation, but I want him to give me an answer from an investment bank. I mean, what is his forecast, or what of his plan for Islamic finance in Mauritius, and what are the challenges? Now, at the same time, when we move on to Sajid, as the CEO of Habib Bank, now we have to take note that Habib Bank is one of the oldest banks in Mauritius, among the oldest. I won't say, of course, we don't compare with commercial bank. Habib Bank has been in Mauritius for 35 years. And it has also been viewed as a Muslim bank. Now you have more clients from the Muslim communities. Now you will look, you give us your view, all right, about the retail business of Islamic banking, or the prospect of retail business of Islamic banking, as well as the challenges. For now, I will ask Mr. Johari to tell us what does he have for us, all right? At the same time, what is he anticipating to see in the future, and what are the challenges that he would face in offering its services?
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, and good afternoon. I totally agree with Brother Khalil that the market is small. If you look at the GDP of Mauritius, it's only 1.3 billion. The growth is around 3 to 4% a year. And the Muslim population is around 200,000, with total population around 1.3 billion, 1.3 million. So, but you know, when you introduce a new methodology, a new concept to a country like Islamic Bank, which has been in the market for the past 40 to 50 years, everything is an opportunity, be it from retail, from corporate, from investment banking, and also education and training. To us, when we come in, we are focusing on wholesale banking and treasury and wealth management, because that is what we feel is the business that we feel we can do based on our experience. Why Mauritius? Because we believe in the political stability, the stable regulatory framework, as well as the DTAs. Mauritius has DTAs with double taxation agreement with 35 countries. We have 35 tax treaties with countries across the world. So when you look at the market, you look at Middle East, you look at the US and Europe, if we were given choice between Labuan, between Cyprus and other offshore countries, we tend to think what are the countries around that offshore markets we want to serve. So we believe in Africa and India as the market that will grow exponentially the next 10 to 20 years. So that's the reason why we choose Mauritius, because we believe that Mauritius will become a financial hub, be it Islamic or non-Islamic. But we will strive to make it an Islamic hub. So that is the target market that we're going to. We're going to do equity, debt, capital markets, fund management, treasury and wealth management. We classify this under wholesale banking. So our products will be sukuk, fund management, fixed income trading, and everything under treasury market. So people ask me, what kind of markets do you have in mind in Mauritius? My natural answer would be corporates and high net worth individuals, because we are looking at very large volume transaction. So can I get that kind of assets in Mauritius? I think I can. But will it be of a large capacity? I don't think so. I might have 20% of my total deals that I want to do in the next 2 or 3 years coming from Mauritius, but it's good enough for the current operation that we're running. One has to consolidate their expectations when they come to Mauritius in a small market like this. Do it small and meet your expectation, rather than coming in big and you see there's no market in your local presence. So we're gonna try to get assets from the local market, securitize it, okay, try our best to denominate it to the lowest level of denomination possible so that it can reach the retail market. We're not going to go into retail market per se by offering, for example, Islamic deposits or Islamic fixed income, Islamic fixed deposit, but we can do a fund management. We can securitize this building and denominate it to a 10,000 rupee per paper or per unit, and it is reachable by all the Muslims over here, or non-Muslim for that matter. Why would non-Muslim put in money in Islamic products if the rate is at par or better than the conventional? Why would they put money if it's at par with the conventional? Because you got an asset backing you behind you. You got a building. If anything happens to the transaction, you got a building that you can sell. that is the proposition that we're bringing to Mauritius. In the next 2 or 3 years, once the assets, most of the Mauritius assets have been securitized, the ones that can be properly securitized, then we will be all out, going out to the African and Indian market to bring in business to Mauritius in terms of making it a financial hub, preferred financial hub. They will come here. Why would they come here? Because of double tax treaty. Why would Middle Easterns put in money over here when they are taxed 0% over there? That's a very good question I got from a lot of people. Then my answer to that would be, they got surplus of money. So between Mauritius and bringing it to Europe, they will come to Mauritius because the tax over here is 5%. If you go to Europe, it's more than that. So that is the proposition that we are seeing in the country, and hopefully we can bring that forward later on in the future. Thank you.
Before I move on to Mr. Sajid, the CEO of Habib Bank, I just want to share with the crowd that if you look at the total deposit from customers for the whole banking system, is approximately 698 million. Now, if you minus the foreign exchange, you are only left with 392 billion. Now, if you look at 1% of this figure, is approximately 375 million. Now, one could anticipate that you would receive 375 million for your first year if you're operating on the retail banking. Now, this to me is an opportunity. Now, let me hear now from Sajid first, what his views on the Islamic banking.
Thank you, Munir. Definitely agree with the other speakers that if a bank is looking for exponential growth, then global business is where you need to be. Now coming down to retail business, as at the time we're speaking, I have a paper submitted to my board to have retail business in Islamic banking for bank. So this is being pursued as an indication that there's potential which we see in the market here. Having said that, of course, market is very small, 200,000 Muslims. More so, the education and the real need for having an Islamic banking was not yet felt insofar. I think conferences like this and initiatives being taken by Bank of Mauritius to set in the framework does now bring an interest as being enthusiasm, not interest as riba, into retail banking. So we can feel now in HBL that there's a need from Muslims asking for Islamic banking. Insofar, there were demands, there were requests, but not as urgent as we are feeling it right now. That has been played by more, I think, with maturing of a business community in Mauritius. Insofar, even if you look at conventional banking, the banking system is offering pretty vanilla kind of product on derivative side, even on asset side. We are offering pretty vanilla kind of products, which indicates that the market is not very mature as such, as a financial center. But progress is being made, and progress is being made very quickly. So in a nutshell, I would say that retail banking prospect in Islamic finance is there. The one who moves first will have the first move advantage. And the way I see it, in 10 years' time, other conventional banks would need to have a window somewhere just to tap in, or not to lose that Islamic and Muslim community from their books. So I believe along the way, you would have a bank such as HBL who would come forward with a product, or any other bank, and then the rest would see the requirement, the need would be felt, and then other banks would follow suit along the way.
Thank you, Sajid. Definitely, I do agree with our speakers. At the same time, in my personal view, I still felt that we need to have a retail bank. To me, if you're offering investment bank, at the same time you're offering a retail bank, the investment bank could complement the retail side of the business. Now, an example was clearly given by our friend here, Johari, where he could securitize his building and offer sukuk, right? But when you look at the demand on the market, people are looking for current account, not current account, people are looking for saving accounts or deposit accounts, right? Now, our next speaker is Mrs. Hajra from HSBC. Now, I have two specific questions to Hajra. One is, tell us why HSBC initially decided to offer its services only to the global business, number one. And if you can share with us, at the moment you are only adopting the Murabaha commodity, or very briefly tell us what is the Murabaha commodity and why only for global business. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Munir. First of all, just to let you know, as Munir mentioned, we're offering it mainly for the global business corporates. Basically, the key considerations when we launched Islamic banking in Mauritius was based on the fact that HSBC, being quite strong on the international business, being like our strategy was mainly to be the world's, largest bank in Mauritius, the world's local bank,